Hey, what's going on, dudes and dudettes? I am the Mystical Green Beanie, and welcome to another episode of Hitting the Books, the show where I talk about comics. And in this video, I'm going to be giving you my thoughts on Green Arrow Rebirth issue number 1. And before we go any further, I just want to say that after reading this issue, it really hit me that there was a point in time when DC hired the writers of Arrow to write this book. Like, wow. Like, I've always known that was kind of a stupid decision on DC's part, but wow. After reading this issue, I really feel that now. Okay, so anyways, let's get on with the review, and as always, I'm going to start off by breaking down the story, which is pretty simple. So, a bunch of homeless people have started to go missing, and Ollie is taking note of this, and when he's out patrolling one night, he meets the Black Canary, and they share their information, and they figure out that a lot of these homeless people are living in this ghetto called the Jungle, and most of them are being abducted from the jungle by this group called the Underground Men, and it's revealed that the Underground Men are trafficking homeless people because, well, they're homeless people. Who's really gonna miss them when they're gone? And the main conflict for the issue ends with the majority of the Underground Men getting busted up by Green Arrow and Black Canary, and then they tell the ringleader, who is conversing with his followers via Skype, I guess, that they're going to take him down. Then the comic ends with Ollie and Dinah properly introducing themselves to one another. So yeah, that was the story. Now let's talk about the art, because this art really fits Green Arrow. And not because it's drawn the same way necessarily, but because, much like the art from those books, this art is very stylized and very comic booky. And I really appreciated that. I also really love the designs of the costumes in this, because the Green Arrow costume is perfect. I mean, it's basically the costume from the 4th season of Arrow, but that's fine because the only good thing from Arrow Season 4 is that costume. And I also love Dinah's costume because it's just a variation of her old costume. But costumes aside, this book was really pretty and I liked looking at it a lot. And finally, here are some things that stood out to me, whether they be good or bad. And as always, starting off with the good, I really appreciated how Benjamin Percy gave Oliver Queen his politics back, because pre-Flashpoint Green Arrow was very political, and I'm glad to see that returning to the character. I also loved how this comic asked a classic Green Arrow question, which is, how could Oliver Queen, the definition of a privileged white kid, call himself a man of the people? And as Dinah puts it, how can you fight the man when you are the man? I just think that's a really interesting question, and the perfect question to ask in a Green Arrow comic. Finally, I love that Green Arrow and Black Canary finally met, and the ending of this issue was perfect because it echoes exactly what Green Arrow and Black Canary fans feel, so that was just really rewarding. But all that said, I do have some problems with this first issue, and the first is a glaring continuity error, because Rebirth is still technically in the New 52 timeline, and Dinah makes a reference to Roy Harper being a heroin addict, when that's incorrect, because in the New 52 timeline, Roy Harper was an alcoholic, and the whole thing with him being a drug addict is a pre-Flashpoint concept. Also, while I do appreciate the fact that Benjamin Percy gave Green Arrow his politics back, some of it felt like it was laid on a little too thick, just a little bit though, just a little bit. And I get it, this is one of those inaugural issues, and they have to bring new readers up to speed on who this character is, and Oliver Queen is a very liberal, left-wing, politically outspoken character, but this issue, in my opinion, was just a little too heavy-handed with it. But my negatives withstanding, this was an amazing first issue. If you're a fan of Green Arrow who's fallen off the wagon because the New 52 just wasn't cutting it for you, here you go. You have your Green Arrow back. Unfortunately, that leads into one of my concerns, because I don't know how the newer fans of Green Arrow are going to take this, because this is a very politically and socially charged first issue, and I know for a fact that a lot of newer fans of Green Arrow have not been exposed to that side of the character, so I don't know how they're going to feel about this, and the same goes for most of Rebirth. I don't know how a lot of the newer fans of DC are going to feel about it, because older fans like myself love it, but the newer fans might end up jumping ship because this just isn't the DC Comics that they're used to. But with that said, I absolutely adored this first issue of Green Arrow Rebirth. But what about you? Did you like it? Did you hate it? What do you think about Ollie getting his Robin Hood goatee back? Let me know down below in the comment section. Also, if you like this video, hit the like button, share, support the channel, and if you want to see more content like this, All you have to do is subscribe. I'm the Mystical Green Beanie. Thanks for watching, and as always, until next time, adios nachos.